And everybody, good morning, everybody. Today is so yesterday I decided to stop past. I didn't feel like going straight home. I just was like, let me just stop past somewhere just to kind of like chill before I went in the house. And I usually don't do that. I usually just go to work and I go straight home, or you know what I'm saying, go to the grocery store and stuff like that. But I decided to stop somewhere for about maybe 45 minutes. And I was talking on the phone with a really good friend of mine, and I was telling her, "Why don't you come and meet me?" And she was like, "Look." And she just ran out to, grab some food for her family and then ran back in the house. And I'm like, it's cool. So I was talking to her on the phone. So anyway, so I get where I'm at, and it's like, people casually talking, it's music playing, and I decided to, chill. And I started to look at the jukebox, and there was like some music. And I like to, like, back in the day, I used to like to play like music and just listen to the music. So some folks had was when I started to pick the music, one of the guys said, "Here, you can use my tablet and you can choose some music right here. Choose the songs that you want to um, play," because he had all of these credits. So I chose a couple of songs that I wanted to play or whatever. And I noticed that it was him, another man, and a woman, and they were playing what's the name of that game? Dominoes. I don't even know how to play dominoes, and I was trying to understand this. And they were like, I'm looking at this like, what is this game all about? They're like, oh, have a seat, we'll show you. She's just learning how to play, and so I'm looking at them play the game dominoes and understanding the corners. You add them up, the fives, the six, the fives, the tens, but the blank. I don't know. I didn't understand it, but I know it was serious because they were throwing those dominoes down and spinning, and they didn't put on the board, or they did put on the board. I don't know. And I was thinking to myself, this is a very boring game. It's extremely boring. I guess to everybody else, it's exciting, especially if you know how to play it. Maybe I was just thinking that. So, anywho, so we're sitting there, and I'm just listening, and bottom line, I had just came from work, and I'm sitting up there. We're just sitting, and I'm just literally just observing or whatever like that. And literally, I was sitting there, and I was just like, this is very boring. And I really just wanted to kind of get up and just leave, but I was like, I don't want to be rude. And everybody was very nice. They introduced themselves. We're doing really good. We're doing very good. Thanks for asking. So everybody kind of like introduced themselves or whatever like that, and they were really cool. Then later on, another gentleman walked through the door, and then the guy called his name, and other people were like picking and choosing like the music. It was a very chill back environment. It was very chill back. And I don't know what happened. The other guy came, and then we were just sitting up there talking. I'm like, "How was work today?" He was like, "It was good," and we're just sitting up there talking. And then they started looking at my ring that I had on. So when they were looking at my ring, the guy was like, "That thing is going off like it got batteries in it." And I was like, "Oh, this whole thing." And they were looking at my ring like, "Dang, like, who is it?" So they were looking like, "Oh, so your husband?" I'm like, "God bought me this ring." But they asked me, like, they asked me questions like, "Am I married?" And I'm like, "Yeah." But I'm also legally divorced, and I've been separated for like, I didn't go into detail or whatever like that. And they were like, what? They didn't understand. They were like, "Okay, you got a man," and I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm still alive." And they were like, "Oh, when you're still alive, you can understand." Oh, when I'm very traditional. So death do you part. As long as he's still alive, I don't date. And they were like shocked. They were like, "What?" Nah, and they could not understand. And I was cracking up laughing. They could not understand that I had been. They could not understand that I was a single woman who have been who haven't dated at all or been with anybody for the last several years. And then it was so funny because I asked the gentleman, and I said, so, like, do you have a wife? He said, no, I'm divorced. And I said, well, how long were you, when did you get a divorce? He got divorced in 2012. That's the year I got married. And I was like, so how long did you and your wife know each other? And he was like, oh man, we've been knowing each other. This guy had to be like 60 something years old. He had to be like around my, maybe a little younger than my dad, but he had to be around that age range because he worked for the Pentagon. He, went into detail and stuff. And I was like, for 20 something odd years, you don't, I mean, what other woman can actually fill in the shoes or something like that for 20 something years? And he was like, well, and I'm like, she knew you back in your heyday when you was like in your 20s, when you look completely different. I mean, I'm looking at the dude and I'm like, he's old. She was with you, y'all grew together. And I asked him, I said, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. You miss your wife, don't you? And he was like, we have convers. They always do this. We have convers. But I'm thinking to myself, you've been divorced since 2012, and you still doing what? And I was trying to go, not go into too much detail, but they were really like baffled. And he was like, you don't have a boyfriend, a guy friend. I'm like, no, for what? For what? And I'm like, number one, God showed me I can't, and number two, why would I want that? And they were like, really. And here go the other guy, and I hate to say it, but not even hate to say it. God will give you a discerning spirit about certain people. The other guy, I can already tell you he was a homosexual. Like, I can tell that I can already sense that the man sleeps with men. And I can, it just drenched off the guy. So he's trying to put on this front, like, he's a heterosexual male. And he was saying little things like, you're gonna miss your blessing. That's the way he's talking. You're gonna miss your blessing. I'm like looking at myself like, wait, bye. You're like a woman's nightmare. You sleep with your own, and nah. So I didn't say anything. I was just like, no. I was like, God has already blessed me. And so they were literally looking, and they just couldn't understand it. And then the guy was like, you're very, like, when you talk, they didn't even know where I was from. And I'm from around this area, where I was born in DC, but I'm from around the area. And it was just like looking at me like as if I was just like an alien or something like that. And it was, and I said, the only thing I really focused on is taking care of my daughter, my family, and I go to work. I said, but, and it was like, well, then the older guy tried to persuade me of why it'd be good to have a man in your life, because a man to be and a man to do and a man to whoop, whoop, whoop. But I'm like, well, the man I married is still alive. So God told me to remain unmarried or reconciled. Plus, like, I don't want any of that. And I was trying to explain to them, it's like them daggone, my sister got these turtles, right? And my grandmother was basically saying, like, she need to get rid of these turtles. And bottom line, these turtles cannot survive out in the wilderness anymore because my sister been taking care of them for so long. They depend on her. I think I have been on my own for so long. I don't want that. Like, I get where I'm at, and I just don't want that. I just don't want that. So they were literally looking at me like, what? They were really looking at me like, so you, when one guy tried to mention something about, um, I bet you got pretty feet. And I said, well, that's for me to know, not nobody else. And they were looking like, huh? Like he was trying to throw stuff. And especially that guy. And I already knew, like, number one, don't come at me like that, because I'm just not. I'm just not into that. So anyway, after a while sitting there, I ended up um conversating about my dad and everything about the with the gentleman or whatever, because he said he worked for the Pentagon, and I was telling him, my father used to be in the military, he was in the Marines. And so anyway, I went to leave, and the guy was like, "You can't give your number out. I can't give you." And I was like, "Absolutely not. It's been nice speaking to you guys," and I just left. But I couldn't believe, like, it was just so foreign. It was just so foreign to people that you are telling me that for several years you have not spoken to anyone, dated anyone, anything. And so my routine for real is so close that people don't know when they see me from a distance, or when they see me, the first thing they think anyway when they see me is that, oh, she got a husband. Because I do wear, from time to time, I do wear my ring. I haven't been wearing my wedding band in a long time. I just haven't. It's not because I'm just like, oh, I don't want to touch it. It's just sometimes I don't feel like putting things on my finger. I just haven't. I'm just gonna be honest. No, I have been wearing my 2 carat, my 2.5 carat that the Lord blessed me with. I have been wearing that ring, and so they assume, like, okay, that I am engaged or whatever, which I am in a sense. And so it was just really foreign, but it was surprising to me how they would just not let that go. It was just like, are you kidding me? So you saying for several years since your husband, and he asked me this question. He said, "Oh, you must still love him." And I said, "No, I don't." I mean, but then when I got home, I said, "You know what? I do still love him, but not like the love. I don't, not like the love like I had when my husband first left. Like, you can't leave. I love you. Not like that type of love. Not like, it's a different type of love. It's more like I love him enough that I don't want him to be hurt." But it's not that to the point where it's just like, I love him so much that I'm going to decide that I'm never going to remarry, or I'm never going to date anyone else. No, I love God. That's the difference. I don't love him. I love God, that I honor God because of the covenant that I took. But I was like, in my life where I'm at, I'm not miserable and I'm happy. And when this guy started talking about the in between with the headaches that he's dealing with after his wife, all the headaches and women come into his place and see his setup, and then they want to, he already got it in the back of his mind that the women are out for, what he got. And I'm thinking to myself, so why the heck did you leave your wife? Why did you leave your wife of your youth then? Like, it's been since 2012. It's over 10 years, and you still are trying to justify um, your singleness, and it ain't working. So I was like, tell me the truth. Just tell me the truth. Do you have any advice on it? I mean, I've done so many videos on that. If you go back to my videos back in 2013, 14, 15, you'll see the advice that I had on um, believers waiting on the Lord to bless you with a child. And I would also read scripture too. Who was it that God closed the womb and then he opened the womb after she prayed? So keep on believing, and when the appointed time comes, then God will bless you with a child. One of my coworkers, after 10 plus years of having miscarriages and babies not being born, he finally brought into the world a beautiful, bouncing baby boy, literally 2 weeks ago. So keep praying to God. So getting back to what I was talking about. So and I'm not saying, I also feel like too that when babies are born at an appointed time, and sometimes it may not be that particular time for you to conceive. It could be something going on, but just keep believing in the Lord, and eventually it will happen. And don't run yourself down with trying to be consumed with having a baby. The reason why I say that is because I know of a couple who the wife divorced her husband because of years of trying to have a baby. The doctors tried to say it was his fault, and she ended up divorcing him, and because of fertility issues. But anyway, so I just thought that was really, really like funny to me. Like I was just like, wow, like people not funny about the infertility thing, but I just thought it was really strange to me. I thought it was really strange to me that people really look at people crazy that don't have a, and then the guy said there's still good men out here. And I said, yeah, I've heard the rumors. But I'm not looking. I'm not even in the game to look. I told him I got some friends that's still on the food chain to be able to date and marry, but I'm out of the game. And that's the only thing I really want. And this is the truth, is that I just want a happy life. I want to, I still got my dreams and visions and things that I want to do. I still want my double staircase home with the elevator and throwing lavish dinner parties, and toasting with great food and champagne. I want to host. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I'm okay not having my husband there. I've gotten used to that, and I'm okay not dating. I've gotten used to that. When you start dating, you have to. I can't put myself into another woman's shoes because I'm just not in that. I can't wear those shoes. I'm not in that lane to do that anymore, and I don't desire for that anymore. I desire my own things that I want to do. I want to travel. I'm literally making plans for me and my daughter to go on a cruise. I want to do stuff like that. Like I don't want to, be sitting up here trying to talk on the phone to some random person or get to know them. That's giving me and taking my time away that I could be spending with my daughter. If it's not my husband, it's just it's no point. And yes, it's not going to be my husband because my husband made a decision not to do that. But I also made a decision at the beginning when I married him, for better or for worse. And this is the worst part. So death do you part. So when I was telling the guys, I was like, my husband's still alive. Like, I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, I'm sitting up here committing adultery in the back of my mind. I'm like, I know I'm in trouble. God is seeing what I'm doing. Like, why would I even want to go down that lane? Like, God has been blessing me. Why would I want to mess my blessings up? Because I don't have the desire to date, don't want to date. And it's just, I don't even want to get to know somebody. And I don't even want to open the can of worms or the can of doors for that. And that's the reason why usually I go straight home, because I don't want to deal with those type of questions. But I was like, you know what, when they were asking, I was just like, well, my husband is still alive. Not that I want him to be dead, but it is what it is. What is that supposed to mean? So, and the guy said, so who was at fault? You or him? I mean, my husband put me away, so I guess he was at fault. But I was thinking about this too. A lot of people nowadays, they get a no fault divorce. And I guess on my divorce decree, it's a no fault divorce, meaning there's no one's fault here. I mean, that's what he wanted for it to be on paper. It's no fault divorce. That's what my bill of divorce is. But God is still like, Mona, as long as he's still alive, you are bound. I'm like, at first I wrestled it. I complained about it. I cried about it. I kicked and screamed and said, this is so unfair. Now I'm just like, it is what it is. And to be honest with you, to be very, 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 very transparent, I'm actually I'm actually having fun, like I'm trying not to put down marriage, because marriage is an awesome thing. I think it would have been great if me and my husband was together, because we all of us would have been having fun, you know, all of us. But I'm not bad. 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 Yeah, they was surprised, you guys. They were surprised. They were like, "So you telling me for 7 years not a man?" Nope. Oh, come on now. You gonna miss your blessing? No, I'm not. I've been getting my blessings. Is you crazy? You gonna miss your blessing? I'm gonna miss my blessing. Like, boy, are you crazy? Do you gonna miss your blessing? I'm like, boy, if you go somewhere. But now they were very nice people. They were very nice people. But it's always the ones who are divorced that, and they try to persuade others, you need to date. But I'm looking at you like, you left your wife, you had a divorce from her since 2012, and you've been with her since you were 20 some odd years. You've been married to her for like daggone freaking 30 plus odd years, and you sitting up here trying to persuade me that I should date. I'm like, what has it gotten you in all of these years? And some people try to sit up here and say, well, look at me, I'm remarried for the fifth time. You going through hell and high water, and you ain't getting no sleep. And I don't care what anybody say, you going through some stuff. You trying to fake the funk, like God accepts that, but he really doesn't. I get good sleep at night knowing that I'm doing everything that God wants me to do. I know that when God gives me something, he adds no sorrow to it. And they were, and y'all, and I had to say, because they were looking like, they kept staring at my ring to the point I was like, let me get one out of here before somebody be like, you see that rock on her hand? I was like, let me get, because my ring, my ring did capture the daylight sun, and at nighttime it was just, it was, it was flawless. And I wasn't even meaning to do that. Like, I just came back, I just got out of work. You know what I mean? So they looking like, what man put that on your hand? I'm like, oh, this? Oh, my father in heaven did this for me. And they like, yo, wait, and I could have lied, but why? Why lie? Why lie? Look, but you're not crazy, but and the thing is like, when God sees that you are following, when God sees that you are following his commandments, man, it's a lot of blessings that come. It's a lot of, it's on the spiritual side of things. You have it's strength that comes too, because I've seen women, and this is the truth when I tell you, I have seen women that had a skill that God has given them. It could be a spirit of like prophecy or something, like, I can see that God, like, they have this thing over them when they follow God. But when they lay down or have sex with someone, I can see it be lifted away from them. It's like Samson. It's like, Samson had a strength about him, and it lied in his hair. And the minute they cut that off, they knew what his strength was. When he told what the strength was, the minute they cut that off, it's like he lost that, because of him telling the secret that it lied in his hair. So when you're following God, when you're listening to God, when you're keeping his commandments, you have a strength about you, a special skill, a blessing that is upon you that others don't have when they're not in the will of God, when they're fornicating, when they're committing adultery, when they're, not in the will of God. They can swear up and down that they're hearing from God, but they're really not, because their sin is blocking them. Their sin has become has consumed their flesh with that. And so when I see people, sometimes I can be able to look at a person, and I definitely read body language, and you can tell like the different spirits that is on that particular person. And when they're in that, they try to persuade you to get from under what God has, and come in the world. And you just like, is you crazy? Like, I'm 40. I've been in the world before, and I know where it got me. Mudslides, storms, rocks, boulders, knocked out a couple of times. Like, it didn't get me nowhere. So here I am, and I'm just like, no, I need every single blessing that I can get from God, especially when my physical, my husband is not there. I need God in my life. I need him to be in my life. I don't want to be ashamed for what I did last night, and I wake up like, oh Lord, could you please forgive me, Father? What did I do? And I know we every single day we have to repent, but I don't want to wake up with that type of doing something when I know it's wrong. And I know better. I know better. So I stay away from it. But they were like, "What? Are you are you kidding me? Are you serious? You're telling me that you've been single for 7 years?" Yes, I have. You gonna miss your blessing? No, I'm not. I'm getting my blessings. I'm going after my blessings. God has been blessing me. Why would I be missing my blessing? You gonna miss your blessing? Excuse me, sir. Thinking to myself, like, you've been saying that to a lot of people a lot. You've been saying that to a lot of people and don't even know what that means. Did you not listen to what I just said? I'm following God, and you gonna tell me to unfollow, to break the rules and regulations and the commandments of God because I'm going to miss my blessing? No. I get my blessing when I follow God. And some people look at me from afar and they be thinking, like, how did you get to here, to there, to here, to there? Because I ask God to direct my footsteps. And sometimes I pray and I be like, Lord, I need you to literally like grab me by the back and like walk me down. I know I'm no, I'm serious. I'd be like, Lord, I know I'd be like, Lord, just show me the path and give me the map. But could you literally like grab me and just, be like, okay, like I need you to direct my body to where I'm supposed to be. I love the Lord so much. I really do. I really do. He's been good to me. He has been so good to me. Can't complain at all. And even the decisions that I make in life, I'll be like, Lord, can I do this? and I'm gonna tell you what God has done. Like, I mean, I can't even. It's so many testimonies. I don't even know where to start. I'll see it. I'll say for instance, I'll see a purse, and I'm like, that purse is so pretty. I would like to have one of those, but it's just too expensive. Then all of a sudden, I'll see a brand new, like the same purse. And then the Lord would be like, look, Mona, you can have this and it's not expensive. Look at the price. And I'm like, oh, Lord, how did you know? And it is amazing. Even certain things that my mother might have wanted, but I went online to look up and I'm like, it's just so expensive. And I'm just like, maybe I just, next time I'll go ahead and get it. And the Lord will be like, Mona, look, See that right there? That's for you. And I'm like, oh, how did you? I'm like, Father, I really was just thinking. He's just like, you can have it. And I was like, whoa. I mean, he literally does things like that. Like I think I was telling y'all, like last year, I took a photo next to this Mercedes Benz truck that I wanted. It had leather interior. It was really nice. And although I liked the car, it, I was literally looking in the back to see whether or not I can actually fit, um, whether or not I can actually fit some things, like haul some things in this Mercedes Benz. And the lady was like, "That's a $50,000 car," and I was like, "So, you know." And I was like, I was just looking at it, and then later on. And then I remember, and I think I told y'all this story. I remember years ago when I was driving my little bucket, and I was like, Father, could you give me the car that you want me to be in? Not me, but you want me to be in. And y'all know the car I ended up getting. He blessed me, paid for it in cash to get a Camaro, a daggone Camaro with the bucket seats, and it had the stick shift. And I remember I was like, oh, and I was doing donuts, spinning out and everything. And so I asked God, I said, Father, could you bless me with the car that you want me to have? And I ended up getting a upgrade. And the way I got it was just the weirdest thing, the way I got it. But bottom line, what I'm trying to say is that, when I ask God for certain things, He blesses me with it. It may not even be like right then and there, but it comes down the pipeline. When I ask God for certain things, it may not be like right instant right there, but it comes down the pipeline. And even when I be like, oh Lord, what am I gonna do? Things don't look right. There's nothing left. And then when I turned around, he was like, no, look. No, look. And I'm like, whoa, like God amazes me. And so with that, I'm not gonna give up that connection that I have with the Lord. And I do believe that when when we sin, it moves God's hand away. Like I need his hand on my life. I need his hand on my life. I do. And so where I'm at right now is that I want to do great things, good things, but the things that I desire is not the things that a man who's still chasing after a woman what he wants because he wants to, feed his flesh. That's not what I desire. I don't desire none of that. I don't desire none of that. I don't and another thing too, men are dominant. They just are. They're built to be dominant. Why the heck would I want that? Like why would I want the dominance of some man who is not the man that I married? That's why you got some chicks that jump out of the frying pan and they land right into the fire. My husband was so horrible to me, so I divorced him. And then you ended up marrying a daggone drunk that's beating the crap out of you. Like I look at things like that, and I'm like, I'm not about to make those mistakes. I'm really considering going to Egypt with my grandmother come March. It's her 80th birthday, and she decided she gonna go to Egypt, and I'm like, but I can't leave my baby for 2 weeks. I just cannot. But it sounds good to go to Egypt. I'm like, oh, I may just get me a ticket. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get my passport together this week. I may just catch a flight with them and then just head back early. And one of the guys that I saw that went to Egypt, I was telling him my grandmother's going to go. He said, "You gotta go. You gotta go. The universe is telling you you gotta go." And I'm like, "Oh, I may just go though. I honestly, I may just go to Egypt, y'all, because I want to get on that horse and ride off in the mist like he did. When I tell you they was on that they was on them horses and they were They were flying like I'm trying to get on one of them horses and I'm trying to just go. But I've always wanted to go to Egypt though. I did. And I know my grandmother's going with her church and everything. I just always wanted to just go to Egypt. So I don't know. I may just do it. I may just do it. Look at me. Look at me. I'm like, hello. Like I'm talking on the phone. Hello, y'all listening to me? So yeah. So they were like, so you're never gonna date? Oh my. They were looking at me like 7 years. And the guy said, let me ask you this question. Like he was like, do you have conversations? I had to be honest. I said no, and I told this, and this is the older guy or whatever, because I was letting him know like when my dad was alive, I I I was a daddy's girl. Like when I was growing up, I was a mama's girl. I still am. Like when my mother said something, that's it. She got it. She asked for it one time. She got it. My mother say something. She got it. Um, a lot of things that my mother says, she got it. It's my mom. Like it's my mom. Even when my father at his funeral and everything, because my mother, she said, when she passed away, hold on, she was saying like, mm, my mother was saying like, when she, sorry y'all, goodness, it's just all over the. My mother was saying like, if anything ever happens to her, like at her funeral, she wants a closed casket and woo woo woo. So when my father had passed away, I'm just like I'm with my mom, closed casket. We're gonna do closed casket, and with my mom, it's just But when I was growing up, as I got closer to my father in the 20s and 30s, and he started dealing with health stuff, I just really became like a daddy's girl. Like, you better not mess with my father. I don't care if he was a nurse, a doctor, whatever. Just don't mess with my dad. And I just became very overprotective about him. But my father, as I got older, like he was just that male figure in my life that I was talking to. Like, Dad, what's going on? Dad, this was going on in my job. And I would call my father and even ask for advice. And my father be like, well, you need to do this, you need to do that, well, you need to do that. And my father understood my stance on marriage and remarriage. And he could actually vow because of what my father went through after he married somebody else. And then he said that he felt like his body was going through what it was going through because he sinned against his own flesh. And I never forgot that. And I literally saw what my father went through, and I was like, oh, through that. I see what other people are going through out here in these second, third, or even out there trying to date somebody, marriages, and forbidden relationships that are not supposed to be in. And so I see the downfall in men. They have, when you look at King David, listen to him, but David's downfall was adultery. And a lot of women and men out here, your downfall is adultery. Like you're dealing with people you're not supposed to be with. And I'm just like, if you want to win this race, you got to keep these commandments. You want to get to the next level, you got to keep these commandments. And maybe, who knows, maybe I was meant to go there to let that guy know. I was like, tell me the truth. You miss your wife, don't you? hmm And I was like, can't nobody fill your wife's shoes? And he was like, no, can't nobody be like her. They have to have their own shoes. Like, you need to go back to her because she know you in the heyday. Y'all can sit there and talk like, remember this? Remember what happened in 1975? when we was on the porch and Pookie and the crew came through. She the only one that's gonna be able to witness that and be like, I was there, I remember that, I'm trying to tell you, stick with the wife of your youth. And for those of you who left your husband on your wife, it's never too late. It's never too late to reconcile. It really isn't. But I basically said, I said, what I really want, what I really would like to have right now, my double staircase with the elevator, and to throw lavish parties, to toast, nice dinner table parties, just to be a host, having a great time. That's what I want. I just want to, have good and have fun and go where I want to go. And I have nobody tell me, where you think you going? Where you think you going? That's why I'm asking God to plan. Look, even my baby, like she's just like, Mommy, when we going on a cruise today? I'm like, Symphony, you got school today. Mommy said that we're going in the summertime. No, Mommy, let's go on the cruise today. And I'm gonna tell you something too. My daughter is remembering and soaking up all of these memories that me and her are having together. That it literally is it's absolutely wonderful. Like she's soaking up the memories that we are having. And sometimes when I think that she don't remember, she was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to get my suitcase, I'm gonna have to get my bathing suit, my dolls, like yeah, like my flashlight. Like when we went to the beach this past summer, she was like, come on, Mommy, let's go. And what she wanted to do, she was looking for a flashlight so we can go out on the beach and look for little crabs and little baby crabs. And I was like, no, sweets, that's in Panama, Florida. But she remembered that. And I'm like, it's little things like that that I want to do, like, that I'm into. Like I'm not, for each his own. I think for the single it's wonderful. You go out, you meet somebody, you see whether or not this person could potentially be your wife or your husband. That's for y'all, you know what I mean? For those who are widows, you know what I mean? God may bless you with a new wife or a new husband, whoever you're seeking. That's for y'all. For y'all who ain't never been married, you should be out there in the dating pool. For somebody like me, like I'm out of the game. I'm out of that game. And he go to other guy, you gonna make sure blasting. I'm looking at him like, be honest, be very honest. You are not even just stop. But nevertheless, the people there were very nice. They were very nice. And then later on I said goodbye, left at a decent time, and I went home. I went home. Today is Thursday. Oh my goodness, you guys. I want Sorry about that. Sorry about that. Uh, let me go. Let me pull up in here real quick. Let me pull up in here. Let me pull up in here. I got a whole bunch of things to do. My daughter was asking me these questions this morning. She was like, where does steam come from? And frost and snowflakes, and it turns to snow. And she was like, that's correct. And I'm like, go to bed. And she was like, no. She said, Mommy, let me ask you this question. Mommy, look at me, look at me. Let me ask you this question. Oh my goodness. Little T Nachos. But you said, it's such a blessing. You are right. Um, Let me read some of y'all comments. Um, it is strong call to stay single after divorce at times, but it is a blessing to don't have stress of pleasing someone else. You just have to submit to God. I'm trying to tell you, it really is no stress. You don't have stress. You really do okay, my lot, and when I say my lot, was yesterday. I came yesterday morning. I opened up the skimmer to my pool and I put a stick in there just in case that frog was still living. I was just thinking about that frog. What if that frog is trapped underneath that tarp? I may be feeling like, oh, I got these trees, they're overgrowing. Oh, I have to get them cut. Who's gonna? And God is just like, my load is my stress is not the stress of what I used to have when I was in the world and I was sinning. Don't get me wrong, we all deal with certain dramas and there's certain things along the way that we see, but it's different. And I'm not sitting up here and saying that you don't deal with life issues, when you're following God, because certain things happen and just do. But I do know this, that when you follow the rules and regulations, things don't happen. It's just like speeding, right? If it tells you that, and that's another thing too, I'm gonna call that guy about that thing. It looked like they may put a speeding camera over where that lady passed away, y'all. But it's just like a speeding. If the rules say you can only drive 30 miles an hour, you see the sign that says 30 miles an hour, you know to drive 30 miles an hour. But if you decide to drive 200 miles an hour and get into a head-on collision and somebody dies, that is because you weren't following the rules. You broke the law. It is the same as the commandments. When you follow the commandments of God, your load is not as heavy as it would be if you sitting out here fornicating. And I'm gonna tell you another thing that I be seeing people. I see the spirits on people that when they start fornicating, they start to evolve into something else that they weren't at first. I knew a woman who had been celibate for all these years and she boasts about it, and now she's dealing with somebody else's ex-husband, which happens to be somebody's husband, which means you committing adultery. And you're committing adultery. And now I'm seeing something evolve. She's doing things that she doesn't do. She's drinking more. She's, you know what I mean? God had blessed you to be in a position to, to better your career and has blessed you with new places. And then all of a sudden you start inviting these jokers in your life. And now you're taking on a new trait that you never had before. I noticed how this woman come in, or I see her and look like you got a hangover. Look like you going through some stuff because you staying out drinking with some rhinos. And I'm just somebody that is observing, not saying anything, but I'm just observing this. And I'm like, when do women ever learn? I remember seeing someone and I could tell that the Lord hand was with this person. And then she started to sleep around with the man. And then later on, it was revealed to her that the man was married. And she started walking different and talking different. And I could tell, like, you let that power that God had given you let that go in exchange for some nastiness. It on the spiritual side of things, it's real. On the spiritual side of things, it is real. So count your blessings, not to go around and be like, look at me, I'm better than everyone because But on the spiritual side of things, there is a blessing that come with keeping the commandments and being in alignment with God. Now, I'm not perfect because I missed church on Sunday. And I was out there like literally digging them leaves out the pool. I'm talking about digging those leaves out the pool. My back was hurting and everything, but I said somebody needs to do it because I don't have a hired help right now. And, I'm the only person that's around here that's doing yard work. So somebody needs to do it. But it was a valuable lesson that I learned. Because later on when I went to wash up, I
thought something got stuck in my eye, and I was like, oh no, I started thinking like, I don't want to lose my eyeballs. Oh my goodness, what is this on my eyes? And then I started thinking, see, maybe I should have went to church. And then if I would have went to church, I wouldn't have had this speck in my eye from, trying to clean up the pool and blow the pool and rake the leaves and all this other stuff. There could be certain things that God is like, Mona, I already told you I'm going to deal with that. You still do things that you're supposed to still go to church. So there's certain things that I'm still learning, like you got to let it go and let God deal with it, but still do what I'm supposed to do. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. But yeah, they were these guys that when I tell you, they looked at me like I was a daggone alien. What do you mean you've been for 7 years? And the reason why the conversation started is because they saw the ring on my hand. They saw that ring and was like, the guy said that thing looked like it got batteries in it. And the other guy was like, who in love with you? Like, they was just asking these questions. And I was like, oh, my father got me this ring. And he did. God blessed me with that ring. My father blessed me with that ring. He know what I like. You like shiny things and diamonds and rubies and all these things or whatever like that. He'll still bless you with that. You like a big house, he'll bless you with that. You like vacations, he'll bless you with that. You want good health, he'll bless you with to go work out or find routines and healthy food. He will bless you with it. He's not gonna not bless you with good things. And our God knows how to give good gifts, and he adds no sorrow to it. So I just have to share that. But anyway, I wish everyone a really good day today. And, keep God's commandments. If you just sick and tired of the same old and you dealing with drama issues and you never happy, get rid of whatever you're doing and just keep God's commandments. And you'll find that life could be much sweeter. People look at you like you're crazy, but at the end of the day, you get the best rest, the best sleep. You don't wake up with feeling like, what did I do now? Why did I do that? You don't wake up feeling like that. But anyway, y'all have a blessed day today.